Russian President Vladimir Putin, who arrived in India for the 15th India-Russia Annual Summit, was accorded a warm reception that is due to a close friend and architect of the strategic partnership between the two great nations. India and Russia share an age-old friendship that is built on the strong edifice of trust and honesty. Over the years, the friendship has further diversified. Russian President Putin signed the Declaration of Strategic Partnership with the then Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee in 2000. When the first summit was held in Moscow in November 2001, Prime Minister Modi, the then Chief Minister of Gujarat, was present to sign the sister state agreement between Gujarat and Astrakhan. The relationship was elevated to special and privileged strategic partnership in 2010. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin are no strangers to each other. The two leaders met twice this year, first in Brazil on the sidelines of BRICS Summit in July and then in Brisbane in Australia during the G20 Summit in November. The 15th India-Russia Annual Summit was the first between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Russian President Putin, where the two leaders unveiled a joint vision for strengthening bilateral relations, entitled Druzhba-Dosti, a vision for strengthening the Indian-Russian partnership over the next decade. Prime Minister Modi and Russian President Putin held detailed talks both in the restricted and delegation format. The 20 agreements signed between the two countries provided for cooperation in a spectrum of areas, including nuclear energy, oil and gas, health, investment, mining, media, and wind power. India will build at least 10 more nuclear reactors with Russia under an agreement aimed at boosting nuclear energy cooperation. A second site will be identified in addition to Kudankulam in Tamil Nadu for the Russian-designed nuclear power units. The major agreements signed included consultations between the two foreign ministries on issues in the UN, G20, BRICS, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and Russia-India-China Trilateral. Cooperation in peaceful uses of atomic energy with roadmap for the next 2 decades. Agreement for Units 3 and 4 of Kudankulam Nuclear Power Project. Cooperation in oil and gas and new hydrocarbons exploration, production and transportation projects. MOU between Akron of Russia and NMDC of India to implement the understanding reached to acquire stake in potash mine in Russia. MOU between news agencies PTI and TASS. Focusing on people-to-people contacts, the Festival of Russian Culture was celebrated in India in 2014, and the Year of Indian Culture will be celebrated in Russia in 2015. India and Russia work closely in international fora like the United Nations, G20, BRICS, East Asia Summit, and the Russia-India-China Trilateral.
The character of global politics and international relations is changing. However, the importance of this relationship and its unique place in India's foreign policy will not change.
Russian President Putin called on President Pranab Mukherjee, who hosted a banquet in honor of the visiting dignitary. Making a pitch for his pet theme of Make in India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged Russian President Putin to locate manufacturing facilities in India for spares of Russian defense equipment. Discussions focused on aligning defense relations to India's own priorities, including Make in India. Russia offered to fully manufacture in India one of its most advanced helicopters, with the possibility of exports from India. It can be used for both military and civilian use. Military technical cooperation between the two countries has evolved and moved towards joint research and production. Notable examples include the BrahMos missile, 5th generation fighter aircraft, and multi-transport aircraft. After the summit-level talks, Prime Minister Modi underscored the role played by Russia in India's defense sector. He recalled,
My first visit outside Delhi as Prime Minister was to our new aircraft carrier INS Vikramaditya.
INS Vikramaditya, which is seen as a great symbol of India-Russia defense cooperation. Even as India's options have increased, Prime Minister Modi insisted that Russia will remain India's most important defense partner. With changing production and procurement dynamics of the Indian arms industry, Russia is eager to participate further through Make in India. Russia is the world's largest exporter of rough diamonds, and India is the world's largest manufacturing hub for cut and polished diamonds. Employing nearly 1 million workers, India has skilled manpower to expand the business. On the sidelines of World Diamond Conference, Druzhba, the largest rough diamond supplying company of Russia, signed agreements for direct sale of rough diamonds with 12 Indian companies. India decided to create a special notified zone in which major mining companies can import rough diamonds on a consignment basis and re-export unsold ones. The visit of Russian President Putin gave fresh impetus to the age-old friendship, taking the buyer-seller relationship to a new level of partnership. Various pacts signed between the two countries, like on energy, nuclear and diamonds, promise to revitalize and rejuvenate the bilateral relations.
मैं मानता हूं कि रशिया और भारत डायमंड के क्षेत्र में अगर जुड़ जाएं तो सिर्फ डायमंड चमकेगा ऐसा नहीं, डायमंड पूरी दुनिया को चमकाएगा.
Indeed, Druzhba-Dosti of India and Russia will raise the bilateral relationship to a new level of special and privileged strategic partnership and bring sparkle to the world.